Welcome to Municipal Affairs. Today's episode was brought to you in partnership by Alberta Municipalities, Strengthen Members. Today we're diving into a critical program that touches nearly every corner of our province, Family and Community Support Services, better known as FCSS. FCSS has been a cornerstone in supporting preventative social services in Alberta for decades. Whether it's youth outreach, mental health programs, senior support, or community development initiatives, FCSS helps municipalities respond to local needs with truly local solutions. But what role does FCSS really play in shaping the social fabric of Alberta's communities? How do municipalities manage these programs, measure their success, and advocate for the future, especially as we approach a pivotal municipal election here in the province of Alberta? So joining us today to help unpack all of this are two guests with deep insights and experience. Kayla Blanchette, President of the Family and Community Support Services Association of Alberta and Councillor for the Town of Bonnyville, and Tyler Gandam, President of Alberta Municipalities and Mayor for the City of Wetaskiwin. Together, we'll explore the challenges, the opportunities facing FCSS, the importance of municipal-provincial partnerships, and what lies ahead for community well-being here in the province of Alberta. So stay with us, as this is a conversation you will not want to miss. From the smallest village to the largest city, across every region of the province, Alberta Municipalities represents the communities where over 85% of Albertans live. AB Munis provides a united voice for 265 of Alberta's 330 municipalities, including summer villages, towns, cities, and specialized municipalities. As Alberta's largest municipal group, AB Munis listens to municipal leaders and advocates for solutions to their common issues. Additionally, AB Munis supports local governments by providing services specially designed to meet their operational needs. And they bring their members together regularly so they can share ideas and information so that their communities can thrive. Check out Alberta Municipalities at abmunis.ca and follow them on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, now called X.
Kayla, Tyler, thank you so much for sitting down with me and talking about this important tool that municipalities have at their disposal, which is FCSS. FCSS. Yes, I got that right. I'm probably going to have to do that slowly a few times during the interview, so I apologize up front. I want to start with a very simple question, Kayla. What is FCSS for those who are tuning in and watching this who may not know what this program offers?
Yeah, so I think that probably when you get into municipal politics, the first thing that you learn is there's an acronym for everything. So FCSS is the Family and Community Support Services program. It's a unique partnership between the provincial government and municipalities, with the province picking up 80% of the cost of that program and municipalities picking up the remaining 20%.
And what is the program? That's the funding. What does the program offer?
So, it has a mandate in prevention. So essentially it supports individuals, families, communities in the realm of prevention. Essentially, we're teaching folks to swim before they're drowning.
Okay. From a municipal perspective, Tyler, why is it important for municipalities to help fund but also help work with FCSS to ensure that the support services that they do provide are given to municipal residents?
I think for a municipality, each of our communities have different needs. And so for the municipality to be a partner in that with the province, they'll also have some understanding of what the needs are in the community. So when we're talking about prevention, things that we would be working on in Wetaskiwin might be different than in Camrose or in Bonnyville. So being a partner at that is really important. We're the closest to the people in this order of government. And so having some opportunity to help guide that service is really important.
Is this a unique program to just Alberta, or is this something that other provinces also have, Kayla?
No, this is unique to Alberta, and I should clarify, it is a partnership between the provincial government, municipalities, and Métis settlements.
Okay, so can we just, why Métis settlements in the province? What is it about those three different organizations that are unique to form this organization to partner with?
So we treat the Métis settlements just the same as we treat municipalities. Like Tyler said, they know their needs in their communities. So they're funded exactly the same, but of course Métis settlements are unique to this area of the country as well. So yeah, it's just how it's structured provincially.
Is there a one-size-fits-all?
Never.
Why?
Because communities across the province are unique, and as Tyler said, we are the leaders of our communities, and we see the needs locally on what our communities need. So while the province gives us a broad mandate of 5 priorities to stay within, being homelessness, mental health and addictions, employment, violence, family violence, and seniors aging in place, we tailor our programming, our unique programming for our communities to fit within those priorities.
So one priority could be very beneficial to, say, Bonnyville, which you're a councillor, and another could be beneficial to Wetaskiwin. From a municipal standpoint, Tyler, how does the council direct FCSS in their own unique community to prioritize one issue over another? Or is it because of that partnership with the province and the Métis settlements, you let the FCSF sort of work through it themselves?
I don't think that we would direct our FCSS or our FCSS board. We do have members of our council who sit on the FCSS board in Wetaskiwin, and so through that conduit, and so there's a connection to council and to the board, we're able to help guide what administration and the board want to focus on. And one of the nice things is in that given year, certainly we have issues that are long-standing in Wetaskiwin, just like any other community, but there are things that pop up, and having the ability to be a little bit more flexible in what we're offering in terms of supports or programming is really important. So the 2 members of council that we have on our board are very in tune with what we have going on in the community, which then just gives them another conduit through the board and to help decide what programming they're going to be offering.
Have municipalities seen a more, and I don't want to say reliance, but a more active participation through FCSS over the last few years? Because we saw COVID-19, we saw the economic downturn. Are you seeing more and more residents and more people utilize what FCSS offers its communities?
So I'll start off. I'll say that I think that folks probably don't realize how much they've always relied on FCSS for. Really? Yeah, I think that FCSS has been probably the best kept secret across the province of Alberta for decades, but it was amplified probably during the pandemic that FCSS was the open door for folks when government services, government agencies were closed due to the pandemic. FCSS remained open, and that trickles down even now. You see service delivery from the government side. Sometimes it's structured a little bit differently, and FCSS remains open and are helping folks flow through the system. And then you look at, FCSS programs deliver their services differently across the province, as we've talked about. Some of them do direct service delivery. Some of them do grant out to other organizations to deliver the programming. And some of them are a hybrid, of course. But I think that everyone has relied on FCSS forever. It's just definitely been amplified since the pandemic because the needs are just more complex these days.
For yourself, Tyler, from a municipal perspective, over the last few years, municipal budgets have been under constraint, but it seems, from what I hear at your conventions, FCS is one of the topics that most people want to talk about. They want the provincial government to come to the table with more funding to help offset some of that municipal revenue that might be going. What do you see from a municipal perspective that has increased over the last few years because of sort of the world that?
Well, as Kayla said, FCSS has been utilized for a long time in our communities, but I think it's become far more apparent to the needs that we have in our communities in terms of that programming. We look at what our food banks are going through, and if your community isn't set up with a food bank or that ability, some of the opportunities to work through FCSS. And so just seeing the needs, and I think maybe it's more public now because of how open people are on social media or the news covering different issues that are going on in communities. There is definitely, and from my perspective, a higher demand on our FCSS programming.
Is FCSSAA, the association, able to handle that demand?
Well, I think that our role is to support the individual programs. So what we do is we information share across the network. We do learning opportunities, and then we do advocacy work as well. So we work in partnership with Alberta municipalities to advocate for resources for programming across the province, just to meet those local needs. So I would say yes, we do keep up as best as we can, but of course, like you said, funding is an issue across the province.
Very simple but overarching question right now. What specific programs? You say that most people have utilized FCSS with probably not even realizing it. What specific programs have Wetaskiwin, has Bonnyville implemented through FCSS that people would know and say, oh, that's the program that FCSS, because some people may just think, oh, it's another acronym and I really don't know what they're actually offering. So from Bonnyville's perspective, what has FCSS actually implemented?
Yeah, so one of our longest standing programs in Bonnyville is the Meals on Wheels program for seniors. Another one is our Snow Angels program to help folks that maybe don't have the ability to be able to shovel their snow. So meeting, of course, those municipal bylaws. FCSS kind of recruits volunteers to run that. We did Community Fun Fridays, and that was to support newcomers to our community. That's why we started it. When we had Ukrainian refugees coming, that's how we were kind of integrating them in. We do clothing drives before school starts. There's a lot of programming that's done that people they don't realize that FCSS does it.
Tyler, from Wetaskiwin's perspective.
Very much the same. So Wetaskiwin has a very high homeless population. So we've been able to work through FCSS on some of the programming available to those higher risk in our community, working with Hope Mission. A number of the ones that Kayla has mentioned with Bonnyville, we've done the same thing. Not that I'm an angel by any means, but I've had the opportunity to be one of those volunteers where we go out and shovel seniors or those that aren't able to get out and shovel their own walks. The back to school programming, Christmas hampers or toys for kids, Secret Santa, all of those things that we've been able to do in our community. And if we fly under the radar, that's fantastic. The important thing, though, is that when somebody needs that kind of service or that program, that they know it's available. It doesn't need to be throughout the community that this person is on or taking a part of a program that FCSS offers, but it is important that those that require that type of service know that it's available for them in their community.
In June, we often celebrate Seniors Week, and I worked for a municipality up north, so I know that FCSS was very integral into the seniors portion of that Seniors Week, helping out with pancake breakfasts and all the events that were going on. How does FCSS integrate themselves into the municipality to ensure that they're not reproducing sort of issues, or not? I don't want to say issues. Just to clarify, I'm not saying issues. I'm saying programs that the municipality already offers. Is it they're working hand in hand, or is it through a board that there's council members that are sitting on the actual FCSS board and they're saying, oh, the municipality is already doing that, so FCSS doesn't have to do it? Because I just don't want people to assume that there's repetitive programs being produced.
Yeah, I think that you hit the nail on the head. Duplication of services is certainly something that we avoid. I can, and of course, we've talked about how unique programs are, but from my lens as a Bonnyville councillor, we I think work in partnership with our municipality. We've got and in partnership with our county counterpart. We have a multi-municipality program between the Town of Bonnyville and the MD of Bonnyville, and we have 2 councillors sitting on each. We're meeting the needs of both municipalities from a regional perspective. And yeah, there's times that I sit with my councillor hat on in council chambers and I go, well, why don't we lean on FCSS for this? Because they have the people, they have the knowledge. And I think that that's probably the same for the majority of municipalities across the province.
Do the majority of municipalities have FCSS boards?
They're structured differdifferently. It's you don't have to have a board. I know Canmore, I believe, was one that doesn't.
So I'll clarify the question then. Does every municipality have access to FCSS,
Yes.
or are they all regional? Are they all individual? Like, is there one in Leduc County and Wetaskiwin County, or are they regionalized?
Yeah, some of them are regionalized. Some of them run individually. For Bonnyville region, ours is the longest standing partnership between the Town of Bonnyville and the MD of Bonnyville. But yes, there is ones like the Village of Glendon, for example, they run theirs and they say they run it off the corner of their desk, which I would encourage folks, that anyone who's listening, if you are a smaller municipality and you can partner with a larger program, it would probably be to your benefit and your residents' benefit to draw on those larger municipalities and that have more capacity to offer services to your residents. So it's truly unique across the province how they're structured.
And then from an association perspective, how do you help the boards or the organizations throughout the province? Because if all of them are unique in their own sort of advancements of their priorities, the association must have a lot of priorities, and you must be all up in the air. Your executive director must be busy as heck half the time.
Well, I would say she's busy all the time because she is a one person who runs the show day to day with minimal staff. So she is a rock star. But we information share across the entire FCSS network. So a really good example would be an FCSS program sending an email into our administration and saying, I'm looking for information on A, B, and C. And then that information gets shared out to the network, and then we compile all the information that we get back so that it's shared back to the entire network. So if, say the Town of Bonnyville or the City of Wetaskiwin is looking for specific information, they can reach out to us, and then someone else may be looking for the same information or thought, oh, that's an interesting idea, I wonder what's going to come of this. We'll share that information out. We do learning opportunities, of course, our advocacy work in terms of policy, and then we do our annual conference, which gets the entire province together to discuss the beauty of FCSS.
Do you work with nonprofits? How? Are they on the board? Are they integral parts of the FCSS in the communities? Because, again, duplication is probably not something one do, and I can just imagine there's a lot of people out there going, oh, FCSS is going to take over my nonprofit, and I thought I was helping, and now they're just going to do what I'm going to do.
Yeah, a good example would be in the last few years, we at the Town of Bonnyville have had the Child and Youth Mental Health Collaborative who have reached out and have looked for some support in terms of piloting a mental health project for youth in the community. And so they leaned on FCSS at the beginning, and they came to us and they said, here, can you fund our summer program, for example? And of course, if it fits within the priorities and we have enough funding allocated, that's what we do. We work in partnership with not-for-profits. If you come and something is meeting a need in our community and we don't have to do it ourselves, we just really leverage those partnerships and draw on those.
There's a couple of not-for-profits in Wetaskiwin that work directly with FCSS, and I think what they've found is that while they're working together, they can share the resources. They know what each of the committees are doing or working on, and they aren't duplicating services, but they're able to build off of each other and utilize the support from one another too. And I've seen some really good projects go on in my community, and I've seen the ability where both the not-for-profit and FCSS are working together to put a program on or to put a session on for the community.
Sticking with Tyler for a second, how does a municipality measure the effectiveness of FCSS? Because funding, and we're about to head into election, which affordability is going to be one of the top priorities for a lot of municipalities. It is a worthwhile program, and I'll say that, and I'm not trying to be biased, I'm not trying to blow smoke. It's a truly worthwhile program. I saw the work that it did for people who utilized the program. From a municipal perspective, from a council perspective, Tyler, how does a municipality measure that effectiveness? Because you want to make sure you're spending the dollars wisely.
Yeah, I think we continue to look at the health of the community. We see where there are some gaps. We see where the mandate of whether it's FCSS, the City of Wetaskiwin, the provincial government, or the federal government, and we try to bring all of those together to fill as many of the holes as we possibly can. And I think it just comes down to the health of the community. And it's really hard to measure something that you don't have a story or an example of how things have changed. But I think the impact that you have on an individual's life or a family's life, and how you can be life-changing for them or teach them skills that they may not necessarily have learned along the way. You can't look at a return on investment on something like that. But at the same time, should you be looking for something like that? The quality of life in the community is very important. And we heard that regularly. So I think to try to measure something that doesn't actually have tangible results a lot of the time would be really difficult.
Then from the association's perspective, same question but a little bit different. How do you measure success? Because when you get together every year for your convention, you have to hear the good stories, because if you only hear the bad stories, then you have to figure out what you're doing wrong. So how do you measure that success, that the programs that you're offering, the programs that each individual organization is offering, is getting the right person to that person that might be reaching out for help?
Yeah, I think that Tyler really hit the nail on the head, and I know he was trying really hard not to steal my line when he said it. I was like, oh, don't you say it. But it is really hard to tell a story that never happened, right? So I know FCSS programs are held to stringent accountability measures. But I think that, yeah, like Tyler said, you look at the health of the communities, and if folks are feeling supported, you're seeing them build resilience or developing coping skills. I mean, that's success in my mind. And I look at prevention like a timeline. If you start over here and maybe you make it this far, but they never made it over here with 6 different issues branching off, that's success.
What is the limitation that FCS has today that could be potentially fixed?
Yeah, it's a very easy answer. I think increased investment into the FCSS program to keep up with the population growth over the last 10 years, and I have the numbers in my brain, ingrained in me. Over the last 10 years, 23% population growth in the province of Alberta, 30% CPI increase, 5% increase to FCSS funding. So you can see how that every dollar invested into FCSS by both the province and municipalities, it's eroded. So I would say that increased investment would absolutely be paramount.
Would you agree, Tyler?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the level of social needs that we have right now, they go far more than just mental health and addictions, obviously. But the funding needs to be there, followed up with the supports from both the province and the municipality, making sure that we are looking after the highest needs that we have in each of our cities and towns. But yeah, as Kayla said, the lack of funding and the increase to funding over the last 10 years is very detrimental to the level of programs that we're able to provide to our residents. And it shows. Our FCSS boards are running on absolute shoestring budgets, and still performing miracles. So imagine what they could do if they were adequately funded.
Now, I've been attending Alberta Municipalities conventions for some time, a few years now, and every convention, as I said, I often hear FCSS being brought up at the resolution session. Now, you're the president. I'm going to ask the political question here. Have you had a conversation with Minister Nixon about FCSS to increase the funding? Because if that is the limitation that's holding you back, you guys are both you're a councillor and a mayor. You're both elected officials. You both hold the title of president. Have either of you had the conversation with Minister Nixon? Let's start with you, Tyler, and then to Kayla.
No, absolutely. We have our new CEO, Dana, and I had an opportunity through a virtual meeting with Minister Nixon to talk about the funding shortfall. But we also talked about some of the other gaps that we're experiencing too. So while funding is a big part of that too, the supports that go along with it is a big part of it. And the Premier herself has talked about the importance of FCSS and understands that funding is a big part of that too. She's been on record in saying that there is a shortfall in the funding, and she will be working with the rest of caucus and cabinet to see what they can do for that. So as long as we're giving them reasons to support it and to adequately support it and showing the impact that it has in our communities, I think that's the important part too, because they have to see the wins as well. Nobody gets reelected.
Which is weird because you just said you can't really show the wins because you're telling people stories.
Well, if you look at what the social dynamics in our communities are right now, I would say that we're seeing an increase to social demands and the programming that isn't supporting that. And it starts at a young age with kids and maybe some parents that don't have the experience to bring new skills into their household. when FCSS is a program available to have that happen, then you are seeing that. I mean, you're not tangibly going to be able to say little Timmy now knows how to do his own banking, or knows how to get his Alberta healthcare card, or whatever it happens to be. But we know that these are the number of people that we were able to help over the last year. And those are those tangible wins. If you can put a number to it in terms of the number of people you've helped, you just don't have a story 20 years later of the impact of what that program did for that individual.
If Timmy can teach me how to bank, I'd be very happy as well. Kayla, for yourself, what was your conversation with the minister like, and have you had a chance to be able to sit down one-on-one with him, or with yourself and the executive director?
So Tyler and I were in the same meeting. Actually, we had a joint meeting, AV Muni's RMA and the FCSS Association. I won't repeat that, but we do have a great relationship with the ministry. I meet regularly, monthly at minimum, with Assistant Deputy Minister Jen Anderson, very supportive, great relationship with their executive director there. We feel heard. I mean, we have a great relationship with them. They know the struggles of FCSS. They're with us 100%. It's just, like you said, it's a blessing and a curse that FCSS, it's an increased challenge. You don't have a story to tell. But that's a beauty of it, right? If you don't have a story to tell, you've been successful.
Tyler, very pointed question, if you don't mind. If FCSS went away tomorrow, what would be different in your municipalities that you wouldn't be able to offer that FCSS does?
I think you would start to see bigger gaps in what we're missing in our communities, with some of the programming that FCSS offers in our community that you wouldn't be able to find other places. I know our FCSS looks after helping seniors with taxes, the back to school programming with backpacks and supplies, all of the little things that we might not think twice about. The ones who are struggling in our community do, and they're stressed out about it. And as the cost of living continues to increase, those little extras help, and they ensure that maybe families aren't deciding whether or not they get to eat a healthier meal versus paying the bills, or making sure that our friend little Timmy, who's so versed in banking, is able to go to school and learn with the appropriate materials. Pens, markers, coloring crayons. I mean, who wasn't the coolest kid in the class with 130 different crayons? See? And you turned out okay.
Wow, okay. Kayla, from your perspective, though, on the flip side of that, because the moment the new councils get elected, the first thing they're going to have to do is pass budgets. And budgets are always the most challenging thing that municipalities have to go through, and particularly such short a period of time. How does FCSS reduce the cost of municipal challenges when it comes to areas of policing, healthcare, emergency housing, through early prevention?
Yeah, I think that my council is going to laugh when they watch this. I can hear them now, because I always say an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. It's not Kayla Blanchette that says, that's actually Ben Franklin. But we do know that for every dollar that we invest in preventive services, reduces the cost of things that you mentioned, like policing, healthcare, justice, etc., by $7 to $12. So it is very, very costly to react to things. So why not be more proactive?
I want to talk about the future, if you don't mind, for a few minutes, because actually, before we talk about the future, I have one important question. You talk about the growth that's happening within Alberta, and that growth is not just, and I say this respectfully, English growth. That is foreign growth, that is international growth, and that means people are coming here from all different walks of life, all different languages. Does FCSS offer programs to international newcomers to Alberta, and how do you individually, because it's an individual market that you're sort of working in, sort of harness what your community needs when you have such a diverse growth of population, whether it be from Punjabi, through Indian, through Sikh, through English, French? Does FCSS offer those range of services for people to utilize them?
Yeah, we're an open door to everyone in our communities. I'll tell you, when you talk about newcomers, previous minister, sent a letter real quickly when we started getting new Ukrainian newcomers in our communities, and he said pivot and support those newcomers. I'm telling you, FCSS, they rolled up their sleeves and they pivoted real quick to support those newcomers. But like I said, when I talked about things like Community Fund Fridays in Bonnyville, that was something that we saw newcomers coming. They didn't have a support network, and they came and they made support networks through FCSS programming. So yeah, we're open to everybody.
Talking about the future now, what does the future hold for FCSS? Kayla first, and then Tyler. Because you're the president of the association, so.
I hope that impactful investment will be put into FCSS, but I don't think that we're going anywhere. We're going to continue to support our communities, do that impactful work, continue teaching people to swim before they're drowning. I think it has a bright future. We've got some hopes and dreams at the association level that I'm not necessarily going to share yet.
Oh, come on. Give us a little tidbit.
You know what? Stay tuned. Maybe come join us at the conference in November and you'll...
Okay. From a municipal perspective, we are heading into an election, as I just said. This could be a very turnover year, depending on how the polls go or how the election goes. Why is it important for the future of Alberta for municipal councils to invest into FCSS and continue investing into this amazing program?
It speaks to our community health. And whether you're new on council or you're a 17th term member of council, I think it's really important to get back to the needs of the community. I heard, and I don't know who said it, but you act because you're elected. You don't act to get elected. And I think that that's really important, that we're doing the work as we're elected, and we have that opportunity to branch out and advocate to other orders of government and make sure that the community is aware of the needs that we have and why we're supporting them.
The first time I think I've ever been able to actually pinpoint a quote. Don Iverson. Former mayor of Edmonton. The only reason I know that, very weirdly, randomly, it was in an interview that I just did recently.
That's where I heard it. Absolutely.
Exactly. So before I let you go, because I know you're both busy, we've touched on a lot over the last half hour. What do you want people to know that we haven't talked about yet? Starting with yourself, Kayla.
Oh my gosh. I just want folks to know that FCSS exists in your community and to utilize them. Like I said, I think we've moved the needle on this over the last few years in terms of making FCSS known and the impact that they have. But I think that there's still folks out there that don't know that they've been impacted by FCSS. Whether you're accessing programming directly, you're accessing an organization that's been funded by an FCSS grant, or simply you're just reaping the benefit of not having a system taxed because the prevention didn't happen in the first place, right? So I think just addressing your mind to the impact that FCSS has in your community, because, I'll share that my daughter was born during COVID, and the first time I ever, and I don't think of myself as any underprivileged part of the population, but FCSS was the first program I ever dropped her off at, and she did some socialization for the first time. It's shocking, but it's true. So it's like FCSS really does have an impact on everyone. And anyone who's met Kayla Blanchette, she's a bit of a tornado, and you should be very thankful that she was socialized through FCSS. But anyway.
Tyler, for yourself, any last words that you want people to know, especially, and speak to the people who are running for council right now, who are going to be potentially serving on the next council? What haven't we talked about that you want to make sure that they know about this important program when it comes to a municipal perspective?
I think just what and who FCSS is in the community. I'm sure we do ourselves a disservice by having an acronym for everything, but the Family and Community Support Services that is available in the community, what it does, the importance of the municipal investment in that as well, why the partnership between the community and the province is so important, and understanding the impact it has in our communities. So make sure that you understand that along with the other 1,000 things that you're going to be bombarded with as a new member of council. Not to scare you off, but just how important it is, what they do, and the impact that they have.
Final question, this is for Kayla, and this is going to see how much you know about your organization. How can people learn more?
www.fcssaa.org, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that will link to all
straight to the FCSS Association of Alberta website, everything's on there, from resources to find your program. There's also a link.
We'll link to the individual organizations as well.
You'll find them on there, and then there's also a link to our impact tool that's on there that shows the impact that FCSS has on on programs across the province.
We'll link that website in the show notes. So if you're watching this on TV, head over to the crossborderinterviews.ca website and check out the show notes on this episode. You won't want to miss it because it's an important organization that brings a lot of good work to different municipalities across this great province. Tyler, Kayla, thank you so much for sitting down with me. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Kayla, thanks so much for joining us for the first time.
Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of Municipal Affairs. Now, today's episode was brought to you in partnership by Alberta Municipalities, Strength in Members. Now, to stay up to date on all of our latest episodes and upcoming episodes, be sure to subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast platforms or by visiting us online on YouTube at Cross Border Network. Now, your support means the world to us, so share this episode with your friends, your family, and yes, even your community, and help keep the conversation going. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and we'll be back with a brand new episode of Municipal Affairs shortly. Till then, everyone.